So a waffle holds things because it has
does do that.
divots. So
it does have divots.
Is a waffle a bowl? That's my question for you.
Oh, okay. Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4.
What's up, everybody? It's the STUMIN podcast.
The what?
I think Riley nailed it last week when he called that the stupid podcast.
Oh, yeah.
That
was not the STUMIN podcast.
That was
this
something.
Is the STUMIN.
You know, it's things that we have to apologize to everybody for that because I had really high expectations, and maybe that was my fault. Maybe I should not have. I thought we would be
blame this
entertained.
guy.
Yeah, it's definitely my fault, which is funny because normally it's Riley's fault. But then when we include Riley in something, it's my fault.
Actually, yeah.
That's that's too deep for my head to take.
Sorry.
So hey, we need to unpack whatever
there's
that
a
was.
lot we have to handle.
But before that, we do have one question that was submitted that's just really straightforward.
Okay.
Waffles or pancakes? Now, the reason I want to ask this question is because it actually took me back to, like, if you're an OG STUMIN podcaster, a conversation we had. It might have been our first one, but one of our first podcasts when you explained to us what is a sandwich and a taco.
Oh, okay.
So a waffle holds things because it has
does see that.
divots. So
it does have divots.
Is a waffle a bowl? That's my question for you.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I mean, is it a combination of many bowls?
It depends on how you look at it. If you look at it as the whole thing, I kind of view it more like a toast.
Okay.
I mean, you put waffles in a
sense.
toaster. Like, that's how you do the Eggo.
Well, I mean,
Eggo
frozen.
things.
Yeah, frozen waffles. For
yeah,
sure.
they're like Eggo waffles or toasted.
Don't put your batter in the toaster.
That's how you start a fire.
I've gone through 47 toasters.
And I'm sure you could put a slice of toast in like a waffle maker, but I probably wouldn't try it.
Yeah.
It might burn the toast also.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to go well.
But if you then just like zero in on just one square of a waffle, then I suppose you can make the argument it's a bread bowl.
That's where I was at.
It's a very reasonable
based
argument
on the logic you walked us through many months ago.
I don't disagree.
So that's why I wanted to ask that one because I had that thought and I thought you'd enjoy it. But waffles or pancakes, which one are you going with?
I think 9 out of 10 times I'll go pancakes.
Yeah, me too.
They're
the waffle.
elite.
The waffle feels like highbrow version of the pancake,
but it's just not.
But it's just not limited. As good. But isn't that true to a lot of highbrow food? Like fancy food is often.
I don't know. I don't always agree with you there, but.
But I mean, like you go to like an actually crazy expensive restaurant. Yeah, it's usually like slimy things from the ocean, and like the portions are terrible.
The portions, I agree with you. Yeah,
but
it's like here's one bite. But yeah, the pancake, like there's just so much more surface area to work with. Yeah, the waffle, you just you're too much inside the box. Yeah. Literally, pancake, you got to go outside the box.
Yeah, I don't like bread bowls. We've already talked about this.
So why have just a bunch of them?
No, I do like waffles though. So that totally throws that argument out. All right,
real quick, I realized we started this whole time without me turning on the air, so I'm gonna do that real quick, and then we're just gonna cut because I'm gonna it's not gonna be good. Okay, sorry, I had to do that because otherwise it'd be like a roast chicken.
Yeah.
And waffles.
Yes, we would be inside of a toaster. All right, we've got to unpack. I mean, I just was so confused by so many of the things. Disturbed. I mean, it was our first go at like handing podcast time
to
completely
the next
to somebody
generation,
to the youngsters. I took notes, Danny. I took notes. I'm just gonna walk you through them.
Yeah,
and we're gonna talk about some of the things that were said.
Debrief.
If you have not watched Josh and Riley's episode from last week, episode 19, pause this now. Go watch or listen to that, and come back to us.
You've been warned.
I'm terribly sorry for what's about to happen to the next 30 minutes of your ears.
So you're saying on the STUMIN podcast, we're going to break down the stupid.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right, hit me.
Okay, so first of all, we had to edit out an entire segment because Josh is so unhinged that he said something so terrible that we couldn't. I still can't tell you. What, like,
we'd tell you, but we'd have to kill you.
Full disclosure, there are things that you and I have said that we look at each other afterwards and we're like, can we say that? Because like we like to push the line. It's fun.
True. It happens.
But like, did Josh even know a line existed?
He just hurtled right through that.
Was it a 0.789?
Yeah, we were one of the questions we're gonna throw at him. We found out that like the male hurdles are like 0.7 something or like 0.9 something meters tall, which is really random. I don't know who decided that. And then for the ladies, it's like 0.7 something. So that's where that came from. But
it's sexism is what it is.
That's true.
Yeah. All right. So we had to edit out the whole segment, and like that right there just kind of is a microcosm of the entire episode. The continuity was rough because they had this bit that they had us fired and they had taken our jobs. And then Josh alludes to the fact that he can't be the student minister here right now many times.
Continuity
I mean,
error.
come on. Like if you got a bit,
script.
you got to go with it, man.
Edit the script.
Riley is talking about things he believed as a child that weren't true.
Yeah.
And then tells a story about how he totally lies to his friends. And that's his story. How do you believe that it's true when you were the one making up the lie?
Oh, wow. Yeah. I didn't think about that.
It just made no sense to me. Like the questions, they came up with these questions. It wasn't like I can't think on my feet. Like they had time to think about this.
The thing that you believed was a lie.
So the question is things you believed as a child that were actually a lie. And his story was, I lied to all of my friends. And so that's the thing that I believed. It makes no sense. Okay.
I do have one other thing to challenge. So this doesn't make sense to me. Maybe it does to you. But one of the things that Riley talked about with the nostalgia thing, right?
Oh, I've got that.
We got a lot. Maybe we should just start with what you have on the nostalgia thing.
I've got that on
okay.
Okay. So
I've got something.
Before that, though, still on the topic of things you believed as a child.
Happens.
Josh boldly proclaims for all to hear that he doesn't know that rodents have different species. And then after he confidently proclaims that he thought hamsters and gerbils and guinea pigs were the same thing, I'm like, oh, this is it. This is where it's going to get good, right? Because like this is the moment where Riley, as one of Josh's best friends,
just
can destroy him for how stupid that is. And Riley goes, wait, they're not?
Yeah.
What? What are we talking about?
Yeah, that was...
Does that mean I could go on all day?
Few words describe how we feel.
I mean, Danny and I were behind the camera, behind where you are right now watching this.
Behind you.
And my jaw was on the floor. I was like, this can't be real. You made this up. You made up that you thought gerbils, hamsters, and guinea pigs
are the same.
Just
Just different words for the same thing. Just different names.
And like there are things that are confusing in the animal kingdom. I don't feel like this is one of them.
It's not usually.
Like people don't understand that tortoises are turtles.
Or that peacocks can only fly
49
feet.
Yeah.
It's simple.
Common knowledge.
We don't always know that.
We don't always, Yeah, it should be common knowledge. But like, so tortoises are turtles, but turtles aren't tortoises.
Yeah.
Toads are frogs, but frogs aren't toads. Like, okay, kind of, I get that. Like, you think a toad
people point to toads and they're like, oh, it's a frog.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I understand.
Or they'll argue, no, a toad is a toad and a frog is a frog. It's like, well, technically, a toad is a frog, but a frog's not a toad always.
Yeah.
So I get it.
Guinea pigs.
And I'm trying to be empathetic here. But come on, dude.
There's a big difference.
Gerbil,
no one points to a guinea pig.
Gerbil
like, oh,
and
it's
hamster. I'm like, you could find a hamster and a gerbil that look similar, except one has a long tail, and go, okay.
Sure.
But a guinea pig is like 5 times the size of a hamster.
It's not just a chunky hamster. It's something completely different. It's like calling a rhino a dog.
If your gerbil has its tail bobbed, it's now a hamster. And if your gerbil has its tail bobbed and it's fat, it's now a guinea pig.
We figured it out.
We figured it out for you, Josh. Like, what in the world is going on?
If your dog is really chunky and has its tail bobbed, it's a hippo.
This is like that VeggieTale song. If it doesn't have a tail, it's not a monkey. Oh my gosh, man. I was dumbfounded. Like, literally thought he just made up a bit. And then Riley jumps in with him, and I'm like, oh no.
And it wasn't made up.
This is painful.
What else you got?
So you brought up nostalgia. I definitely put down nostalgia. Both of their stories about nostalgia. I'm like, do we need to pull up a definition of the word nostalgia? He's like, when I'm laying in bed and I feel terrible, I'm nostalgic for childhood. And I'm like, because you're old and dying and you miss your youthful days? Like, it makes no sense.
There's nothing nostalgic at all. I remember all the suffering I went through when I was also sick as a kid.
I didn't even remember what Riley's was.
Okay, Riley's was the one I was going to critique.
Good, because I didn't type it out.
Yeah,
so.
we're balanced here. Yeah,
this is how a podcast works, just so you know.
Riley's was so he got water up his nose. And so the thing that he was nostalgic about was doing backflips in the water, getting water up his nose. But like, think with me for a moment, okay? Just picture.
I have a lot of questions, actually.
I'm doing a backflip. What direction is my head moving relative to the water?
Simple
I'm
physics.
Moving this way. The water's coming this way.
Makes no sense.
If you do a front flip, you're going to get water up your nose. I haven't done a backflip in the water in like a while.
The only way to overcome this is to like violently inhale through your nose while you're doing just like who does that?
And like there may be a way it happens. I'm just going off of memory because I haven't done a backflip off a diving board in a while.
If you properly do a backflip, I don't.
Because I also feel like one of the things that's happened since like I've grown up is that we've removed diving boards because of just like the law, like lawsuits or something.
Yeah, for
like
sure.
liability.
Yeah.
Because like when I go to public pools now, I don't really find diving boards that much.
Yeah, not
anymore.
Often. Not often.
So that's why I haven't done a backflip in a while off a diving board or in the water. But like, I don't remember water getting on my nose. Trying to front flip, like, yeah, it gets all up in there.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's one's for you to decide.
But still, like, even if the physics worked, you're nostalgic.
I'm just critiquing the physics here. We have a whole nother layer to go unpack.
You can just leave it there. Like, I feel like the audience is with us.
Who gets water splashed up their nose and like,
how often does this man have water splash up his nose? I can't remember the last time water went up my nose. Like, it's not a common
like for me,
occurrence.
like there's movies that make me nostalgic. So like I watch the movie and I sit down and I'm like,
feels
those days.
Dude,
but like
music.
who gets but who gets water up their nose and they're like, I remember that.
Good times.
I'm just like,
You're just like, leave it there for a little bit. I'm going down memory lane right now. Like, what? Now I have a sinus infection. This is good. Music can transport me instantly to a different time in my life.
Or even like the smell of something. Yeah, but like not
I don't think
water.
like pain and suffering does it too often. And that's
or
what
at least not in a good way.
Both of them chose.
Nostalgia has a positive idea.
Yes, both of them chose pain and suffering as nostalgia. I
get nostalgic every time I break a bone because it reminds me of when I broke something.
So keep in mind that I made these notes in order of how they came up.
Okay.
We are now at 7 minutes and 57 seconds.
Oh no.
Hold on. Where are we at right now?
14 minutes.
14 minutes.
Well,
we had like 45 seconds
break,
of turning the fan on.
Yeah.
So we're at like 13 minutes already, right?
Some would say.
In just under almost half the time of we've already been talking, they're out of content.
Oh no.
Josh is like, wasn't yet another question? And Riley's like, nope.
That was pretty funny.
And then there's the whole bit with the phones flying in. It's just like, because we're
just like
desperately trying to rescue you. You're not even 8 minutes into recording. And I mean, there's like 20 seconds of song at the beginning.
It's 20 seconds. I want 2, 3, 4.
Okay, so on that thought process, then there's like, we're giving them questions, and like, I'm not looking at the clock, right? So I'm just sitting behind the camera, and I'm like, we got to be almost done, right? I look at the timer on the computer. We're at 16 minutes. Like, usually we shoot for like 30 at a minimum, 40 at the top end. And they're not even halfway there. And I was just like, oh no, this is going downhill quick. So then we had a pretty heavy theological question that they didn't even attempt.
Really easy theological question.
Definitely.
Like, what do you think about the Ugaritic influence on Hosea 9:13?
Yeah.
And
Targum.
Targum. And the translation, the Septuagint of the Targum.
Right. Targum is, I don't feel like a hard word. Targum. 2 words. That's how it was pronounced.
That was pretty funny. The Targum.
Okay. So big.
It's the Aramaic translation of the Old Testament.
Big topic we need to talk about.
Yeah.
I think Logan Moore is one of the coolest people I've ever met.
No doubt.
And she got brought up. And apparently there's a reverse dowry happening.
Reverse dowry.
In the marriage. A dowry, if you don't know, back in the olden days.
Like yesterday.
Is what like the guy's family would pay for the right to marry the girl.
Yeah.
Right? But apparently, I guess it's not reverse at all, is it then? It's straightforward. Because it's the guy's family paying the girl.
Oh, no, but it's different, though, isn't it? Because the dowry is where you pay, like, the girl's family. Like you pay the father of the bride to, you know. You're paying the bride to marry.
I'm pretty sure illegal thing going on where Logan Moore is being paid a salary to marry.
A salary. With benefits. With health insurance.
That whole proclamation was wild. And I don't know why, but the one comment that just really like blew me away as ridiculous is Josh isn't worried about money because Logan's getting paid to marry him, and so they're going to be rich. I'm like, wait, Josh, it's your family. If that's true, you're already rich. If they have so much money to give Logan that she's now rich.
Oh man.
So weird, man. So weird. Couple more things before we end the suffering. Quote.
Okay. Quote.
If you don't talk, people respect you more because you have nothing to say.
That was legendary.
I feel like that could go on a t-shirt.
That was pretty legendary.
It is such nonsense. If you don't talk, people respect you more because you have nothing to say.
That sounds like a Michael Scott quote.
That sounds like a Michael Scott quote. I think Josh is Michael Scott. You just wrecked my world, dude. Wow. Does that make Riley? Who would he be? Would he be Dwight? He's got to be Dwight.
I guess so, but it doesn't. I don't know.
Okay, so we picked on Josh.
Just Riley.
We've picked on Josh a lot. I have to finish up our conversation about all of their content by picking on Riley. Danny, if you could have lunch with any person from the Bible except for Jesus, who would you choose?
It's a tough one.
Is it Judas Iscariot? No. Because that's what Riley said.
No.
Judas.
Probably 20 people ahead of Judas.
He tried so hard to get us on board with it. And like, because he fails to understand the simplest answer to any question ever. He's like, I want to know where his head was at. He was selfish and greedy and wasn't a follower of Jesus.
And I mean, like I will say, like, it's probably this, what he's thinking is it's probably the same thing along the lines of like why people watch true crime podcasts and like stuff, because there's something interesting about like the mind of people. Fine. But I also don't think like Judas is that hard to kind of trace down as you, especially when you study.
It's not like the mind of a serial killer here. It's
right. And then like there's so many more. There's a really like I think having a lunch with Judas would be interesting.
Over under 75 people in the Bible you choose before Judas.
Probably over.
Over under 150 people in the Bible you choose before Judas.
150. Might take the under on 150.
Okay. Over under 125. Where are we at?
Let's go
does he
over
make the top
125.
Okay. I was like, he can't make the top 100. There's no way. That's crazy. That's crazy that you would say Judas, man. He doesn't listen to this anyway, so he's never gonna know. But
and I will say,
crazy.
I'll have to throw this out there. Like, of course, we love you guys. We love Josh and Riley, and it's probably
put them on here.
A lot.
Love them.
Yeah, it's probably a lot harder than it looks to just kind of
to be us. Yeah,
it's really hard to do. Probably harder than it looks to like sit down in these seats and then like for us to judge the words that you say. But you know what? You guys get to judge the words that we say every single week. So
they've been judging us since the day they met us. So I don't feel bad at all, actually.
Part of what we do is just be judged.
All right, we're going to move on to our primary conversation here today. Pretty straightforward one, but I think there's a lot to unpack.
Sure.
Do you believe that we are right now living in the end times?
Yes.
All right, that's the podcast for today.
See you guys later.
All right, let's unpack that a little bit because I completely agree.
Okay.
That we are living in the end times, but I think that phrase is misunderstood.
Sure.
And because first of all, the reason we say yes quickly is because that's literally in the New Testament. It says that we are in the end times. And that even they were in the end times, which is why that phrase is a little bit deceptive, because the Bible gives us a picture of the end times being this period of history after the church is established, blank space, Jesus returns.
Yeah.
And we're not given a lot of context. And man, people try so hard to dissect like the book of Revelation and prophecy.
Yeah.
And it's a fascinating topic, but I do think we're a little bit overly passionate in today's like Christianity about it because not because it's not important, but because just like the Jewish people who knew of the coming Messiah, but it seems on our end so obvious, all the prophecy that was fulfilled and everything, and they missed it, especially the religious leaders who were supposed to know what's going on.
Yeah.
They didn't see it or understand it. I think it'd be foolish for us to expect that like we can like do the right math and put a date on the calendar kind of thing, you know?
Yeah, and I think that's where what Jesus says is that only the Father knows the day or the hour and when it's going to go down, that Jesus returns. And then there's all this language throughout the New Testament of like when Jesus returns, when the kingdom comes, it's going to be like a thief in the night. And uses a lot parables even to that end. Yeah. And so I think there's a lot of problems that we can get as Christians if we think we can nail down when the return is going to happen.
Yeah.
Because it's easy then for us to justify being lazy. It's easy for us to justify being comfortable in other aspects of life.
Yeah.
Where the point of all of those statements that Jesus makes, where he talks about coming like a thief in the night, is we're supposed to be, the church, the bride is supposed to be awake and ready. When the master returns, is he going to find that your lamps are still burning and that you're still doing your thing? Or is he going to find you sleeping out in the field?
Yeah. And there's a lot of symbolism there. So like the lamps burning, like in Revelations, that's like, especially in the letters early on in Revelations, like the lampstands represents the churches that are receiving letters. And so like that's like it's a statement of like your personal faith. It's a statement of like your church and what it's doing, and if it's staying focused on gospel ministry. But the word that we use, like the churchy word, is eschatology when we're talking about end times. And I think it's fascinating and it's fun to dig into it. What you're going to find out whenever the time comes that we're all with Jesus at the end is that we probably all in some form got it wrong, no matter what our belief about eschatology is.
I was actually just I was just listening to a talk from a couple of theologians on eschatology, and one of them said, I'm always like ready for my theology to change midair.
Yeah.
And so happens
on this topic, like, you have to be flexible. Like I think what tends to happen culturally is like we just look at, there's a lot of hardship. There's a lot of things we've been through the last 5 years that have been hard. The world seems on the verge of war and conflict. And
but see, my point that I try to argue a lot is the world's always Like, so I'll use a contemporary example. Is the wars that were going on with it centered around Israel over the past couple years, especially the kind of stunt with Iran and with Hezbollah and Gaza and all the stuff that's going on there. People look at that and say, well, that means like surely the end time is coming.
Yeah.
That whole part of the world has been at war literally since the beginning.
Yeah.
Even in if you look back to the lifetime of the apostles, you have the Romans that invaded that area.
Yeah.
Since the
dude, imagine, and this is where I was going with my point. Imagine being alive in 1939.
Oh, for sure.
And like you're watching what's happening to the Jewish people.
Yeah.
Over in Europe. Like I'm sure if you're a believer that reads the Bible at that point, you're like, this is it.
Yeah. Right? Or even the First World War, when you see like the whole world. Like nothing like that's ever happened on that scale of war.
Is at war, yeah.
The bubonic plague, like you can keep going
for sure. And like even like in like the climate change conversations scientists have, and like because like the Bible talks about like the increase of like earthquakes and natural disasters and those types of things. I think if you look at history, the climate of the world has always changed, and it's it'd be hard to take like a 5-year segment and be like, oh, look at the quantity of tornadoes and earthquakes in this time. This must be it.
Yeah,
it's just dangerous to park on those things. It can be fun to talk about them with your friends and kind of dissect them, but if it's becoming your theology, you're going to be in an unhealthy place that's not going to be good for you. Because what it does is it distracts you from what you're supposed to be focused on. And that's gospel ministry, sharing the hope of Jesus with others, remembering that. So there's been a trend over the last couple of years on like Instagram and TikTok where like a young adult person will put like, oh, like I finally get married, and then like they hear like the horns blowing, and they're like, oh, I finally got married and now Jesus is back. Funny content. Like I'm not against that humor. I'm like, ha ha ha, funny, like fine.
It's entertaining.
But if you're a believer in Jesus, and like no matter what's going down in your life and Jesus returns, you're going to know that's so much better. And you're not going to be like, darn it.
Wanted to go see this thing.
Shucks a doodles or whatever the kids say these days. And so, but we too often we lose sight on the fact that believers, that's going to be amazing, unbelievable.
Yeah.
But this world is full of people that day is a horrible day for them.
Yeah.
And so our thoughts, our energy should not go into dissecting prophecy we're not meant to know about the end times, because you're just not going to, but rather focusing on the fact that there are lost people in this world that need to know the hope of Jesus. And we should treat that with great urgency, because we don't and cannot know when the coming of Jesus is.
And some of what the scripture kind of adds to that too is that you have a couple of passages where they say that we're in the end times effectively. Like 1 Peter 4 says the end of all things is at hand. Therefore, so the end of all things, right? The end times is at hand, which means it's happening now. And at hand doesn't mean 2,000 years from now. We're in the end, the final stage of human history. Therefore, 1 Peter 4 says, therefore be self-controlled and sober-minded for the sake of your prayers. Above all, keep loving one another. Like those are kind of the commands then that Peter says of, hey, these are the ways that we ought to live since we're in this last stage of human history. Yeah. Paul, similarly in Romans 13, he says salvation is closer to us now than when we first believed. And then what he says is basically to cast off the works of darkness, because we're not living in darkness anymore. We've seen Jesus. We're on the other side of the cross. We're now on this last stage of human history. So therefore, put on the armor of light and let us walk in the light as in the daytime. That's in Romans 13. Yeah. And so that's kind of the description is we're in the end time. Jesus could return tomorrow. He could return before this podcast is edited and sent.
Yeah.
Or he could return 500 years from now. We're not called to try to line up the dots. We're called to be faithful with where God has us here and now and do that gospel ministry.
Yeah. And I don't want to downplay, because I know we kind of just jokingly were just like, yes to the question at the beginning.
It's a good,
like, don't let that kind of put your guard down that it's just like, well, yeah, but we have been, or like there's just a reality where we need to live with gospel perspective every day, because the reality is whether Jesus is returning tomorrow or not, you're not guaranteed tomorrow. Your friends who don't know Jesus are not guaranteed tomorrow. There is an end point to gospel potential for those who aren't saved, and it's the end of this life, or when Jesus comes to set everything right. And we need to live with the perspective of his hope needs to be made known throughout the world. We need to share our faith. We need to support missionaries who are going across the world. Young people need to be praying about themselves. Is God calling me to go and share my faith in another culture? We need missionaries. We need the next generation. I think as a kid, when I heard about missionaries at church, it never even crossed my mind that like those were kids at church one day. And like they had to take God's call and go be a missionary. The people who are missionaries now will get old and they will die, and the next generation will need to come along. And so there's great work to be done, and it's exciting that we're living in the ended times, whatever it may be, because we can have that I don't want to say anxious because that's a negative connotation, but like that eager hope, the thrill of Jesus could come back in our lifetime. That's awesome. That's exciting to think about. It would be so cool to be alive at that moment. But we live with the great hope.
At least as a believer.
Absolutely. But, Pastor Aaron talked about these things, and that we believe in a resurrection hope, and that there will be resurrection. So even if we pass away before that day comes, guess what? He's bringing our bodies back from the grave, and we will live with him then.
And I'll throw in this too, when it comes to the book of Revelation, because I don't want it to also sound like we're saying the book of Revelation doesn't matter because we're like in the end times already.
Yeah, definitely. Don't want to.
I think the book of Revelation, it's a difficult book to read, but it's pretty sweet. Like there's a lot of really cool stuff in there that's really encouraging, that's really empowering for us in our mission and all the things that Greg just shared.
If you're newer in your faith or to reading the Bible, probably not the book to pick up right now.
One to start,
but you should definitely.
But it also doesn't have to be too scary of a book just because there's dragons and monsters. And there's a lot of I'd be happy to talk more about Revelation and what goes on in there. But I would also say like the point that John is writing in the book, he's writing to first century believers who are facing persecution under the Roman Empire. They're facing persecution. They're being killed for the faith. And the point of all of it is this is how history comes to a close with Jesus returning and crushing all of the evil human powers under his feet, crushing the spiritual forces of evil under his feet. Jesus wins. We rise from the dead and we rule and reign forever. And so that's supposed to give you the joy and the purpose and that excitement and thrill of here in these last days, these last 2,000 years worth of days. But in these last days, we're living out this mission and fighting in this war for the gospel and for the kingdom.
And don't let it be lost that the book of Revelation contains all of that, but it opens with letters to the believers saying, turn away from your sins. Live with the hope that you first had. Don't lose your first love. Don't be a lukewarm Christian. All of these warnings, all of these encouragements,
it all flows into the rest of it.
That is not a separate part of the book of Revelation, and it's intentional that is first. Not that first and foremost, we would look at our own hearts and make sure that we're living the life that Christ called us to live when he died and rose again for us. To then look forward to the hope of the coming day. And you're going to, as a believer, you're going to have conversations with people that are going to be eye-rolling sometimes about the end times, that are going to be confusing, that are going to be fun debates and arguments. And I think all that stuff is great. But it's not where that conversation is not where we're meant to park and spend our spiritual time as believers. We can engage in it, and I think we should, but don't lose perspective on what your calling is and what we're supposed to be doing. Anything else?
It's a great question.
Yeah.
And I think what that tells us that we are in the last days just means that there's an urgency to our mission.
Yeah.
And there's an urgency to what we're called to do. So let's go do it.
Yeah. Let's share the hope of Jesus with the world. We're hoping you stay close to Jesus this week. Let us know if we can pray for you or help you in any way. And we'll catch y'all next time.